One, two, three. Howdy, good people. Just watching what's happening in the United Kingdom, and it is also going to happen in Australia, but it's scary. Watching a video of the police. There's a protest. Some people are for the illegal aliens infiltrating the great nation of England and Great Britain with their ideology, which is incompatible with Western liberal democratic societies. But I'm watching that the police response to protesters is very interesting. They are willing to use considerable force against the people who are pro-Britain, who are, we want our laws to be enforced and we don't want illegal aliens anymore. And the protesters on the people who support the illegal aliens, the radical left-wing lunatics, who really are acting like the early Maoist red shirts, the early Nazi brown shirts, the Red Army. I read and they seem, nobody seems to worry, or they are provided with security by the police, especially the illegal aliens. All this is happening while there are homeless British. Billions of dollars are being spent. And it doesn't have any productive benefit to the people of the great nation of England and of Great Britain. So what is the end game here? I can only see one, and that is the complete destruction of the liberal democratic civilization, of the order that has existed, that has created the greatest economic production in the history of the world, in particular over the last century, or 2 centuries we should say. I am thinking, my God, Lord Jesus, this is horrendous. This is beyond horrendous. What is happening? The world should be praying for President Trump. He's the last one standing. And, there's some nations, Denmark, Poland, that are standing up against this. I'm talking about great nations. I'm not talking about, third world shitholes. I don't give a, I don't want them anywhere near me. But this is actually that statement I just made is wrong, because I've met many who are much more intelligent and entrepreneurial than I am. I want them, but I don't want them all. Just like I'm here in Thailand. Every year I have to justify my living here. There's no choice for me. I have to give them probably 100 pages of information, of documents for everything, work permit and visa and anything else that I need from the government, at least 100 pages. Do I think it's the best way for them to do it? No, I think it'd be a lot easier if we just had a card with digital information on it. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot more efficient. But at the same time, do I want people here who are here illegally? No. So I say, you know what, I'll give them the 100 pages of documents. to prove that I'm legal, and maybe they can boot out some people who are illegal, I support that. But the police in the UK, I think over a number of years, there's been employment of people with lower IQs and also more women, so they're going to be naturally more leftist. And people who are much more compliant to the orders they receive. So I believe that the police in Britain, especially in London and major metropolitan areas, don't work for the British people. They work for that new authoritarian order, because they are not questioning the commands they are given. They are just following through on them. I don't think the UK can survive radical left-wing lunaticism. Just like no liberal, democratic, civilized nation can. It doesn't work because there's no limit to the complete batshit insanity of the radical left-wing lunatics. If you have a look, they are still supporting child GM, if you know what that is. Okay, I'm not going to say middle word, but something mutilation. They still support anything LGBT, whatever the rest are. LGBT, I don't know. Anything transgender, they still want men and women's sports. They're not slowing down, they're ramping up. Even though there's pushback, they can't go back and question their own logic because it's illogical, but it's their whole living narrative. So they have to go even more batshit crazy. So if you think the left are bad now, just wait. They're going to get a heck of a lot worse. And we are starting to see it. There's a lot more radical left-wing lunatic violence out there than anything conservative or right-wing. Even middle-of-the-road liberals. They're basically called right-wing fascists now anyway by the radical left-wing lunatics. If you don't support Hamas or Palestine, Gaza, same thing. They're all the same thing. So it's, just call it Hamas. If you don't support Hamas, then you're a fascist. Like personally, I want one great Israeli nation. I don't want anything called Palestine. And neither the Arabs don't want them either. But they all know about them. But they're only going to get worse. But now the police are on their side. And the police will 100% support them because that is what they're told to. And the police are not intelligent enough to realise where they're going. I fear for England. I hope that somehow you can vote out all these radical left-wing lunatics and bring in a government that says no to all migration except for British Commonwealth nations. But they have to be Christian nations. Judeo-Christian, we should say. Because the principles of Judaism and Christianity, the Ten Commandments are still the cornerstones of our religions. We didn't create a religion a couple of hundred years later that basically rubbishes all of that and just says we can go anywhere we want by any means necessary. Just remember, the Islamic Crusades were to spread Islam by the sword. The Christian Crusades were to defend Christianity from Islam. Don't forget that. But I fear what's going to happen. So England, you're going to have to work out somehow to get the classical liberals to go vote hardcore right-wingers in who will push back everything the radical left-wing lunatics stand for. Anyway, good people, have a fantastic day and see you soon. Bye for now.